We're here at Turney Ford Field at Gordonsville High School to preview the 2016 Gordonsville High School Tiger football season. Tom Duggin for DTC Sports alongside Coach Ron Marshall, entering his 9th season at the helm of the Gordonsville Tigers. And Coach, to talk about going into 9 years here at Gordonsville, let's talk about that to start with and kind of looking back over those years, maybe some changes in you and your philosophy, things that you've seen over the years that maybe have become a difference for you in your coaching style or terminologies and things over that course of time.
Well, you know, everything has to evolve. If it doesn't evolve, then you wind up not being able to make changes you need to in order to take and, number one, meet society, number two, meet the kids' needs, number three, meet your own needs. And so, yeah, we've evolved a little bit over the 9-year period. The biggest thing we've had to evolve for football-wise is the difference in the game. You know, of course, the TSSAA has thrown new rules on us as far as practice, concussions, contact time during practice, and so therefore it's much more structured as far as all that goes. But we've also taken and had to deal with people going to more wide open offenses instead of taking and having more of a running game. And, you know, that's changed us, especially defensively, and even offensively, we've changed and had to do some of those things.
Coach, before we get into talking about this year and a big senior class that you've got coming back this year, let's go back the last couple of years. Been kind of tough, some growing pains, a 3-7 season last year. First time, I believe, since 2008 that you guys didn't make the playoffs. Talk about some of the learning experiences you've had over the last couple of years that hopefully will pay off for you this season.
Well, you know, in 2012, when we won the state, we had a large senior class, and either because kids didn't want to compete with those young men in order to play, or they just wasn't interested in football. Our numbers dropped in some of the classes under them, and of course those younger kids, when you've got 19 seniors, they don't get a lot of quality playing time. Now they get to play a lot, but it's not quality game speed type play that normally you get out of your older kids. And of course in a single A school, you really take in, you'll go 2-3 years and be really good, and then you have to start rebuilding again, and that's kind of what we've had to do since we won the state in 2012.
Hopefully things will pay off a bit for you this year. I think roughly around 20 seniors on this squad this year. Some I know have got a lot of game experience, some maybe not as much as others. Talk about this big group of seniors coming back and how they're going to impact this team on the field this year.
Well, the biggest thing that's going to happen this year is we feel like we're going to have a lot of kids that's going to be able to go one way on the football, and for a single A school to be able to do that, it's going to really help as far as, especially in the fourth quarter when we need that extra oomph going into the ball game. And those seniors are going to be our depth too on the other side of the ball. So they'll be a two-way player, but they may not start on both sides of the ball, and that'll wind up giving us a lot more time in order to take and get us to where that our conditioning will make a big difference in the ball game. Leadership-wise, when you've got that many seniors, if they're a close bunch like this bunch is, you have better leadership on the ball club, and you know, that's always big. And of course, when you have that big a bunch, it means more to them too. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean more to 4 or 5 or 6 seniors. I'm just saying there's more of them, so there's a lot more care that takes place with that big of a bunch.
Under center this year, I believe you're going to have a sophomore, Adam Goolsby, and we'll talk about him and his growth and development. Got a chance to play some down the stretch of last season. Talk about his growth and some of the differences we're going to see in him this year.
Well, Adam does a good job. He's got a good arm. He throws the football real well. For his age, he's a lot more experienced in what he takes and looks. Just for the sheer fact his dad's an offensive coach too, and he's picked a lot of it up from him. And Adam knows football, and you don't have to go over things 2 or 3 times with him, and that's big. And you know, of course, Stallings can step in and play too if we need him to at quarterback. So we feel very blessed at the quarterback position this year.
You mentioned Stallings, and that's a young man I believe you've got kind of penciled. They could play a variety of positions for you. Maybe that Swiss Army knife type player that we may see a variety of positions on the field this year.
I honestly believe Stallings can play anywhere. We can play him at running back, we can play him at quarterback, we can play him at receiver, we can play him in the secondary, we can play him at defensive end. The only positions I don't think we've looked at him at maybe playing a little bit is in the offense and defensive line.
Right.
So, we're looking for big things out of him.
Let's talk about your offensive and defensive lines a little bit. You mentioned having the capability this year of some players only having to play one way, and I know that's a luxury. Is that going to be the case in the trenches for you this year?
Oh, most definitely. In fact, that's main. Now, we're going to have some skilled people that do go both ways, but we feel like we're going to be able to go have all of our offensive and defensive linemen just going one way. And that's what we as coaches are striving to do right now. It's not to punish anybody. We're just trying to get it to where that we maintain and be fresh. And it also helps us in practice and help us down the road in practice, because when one group's working in offense, we can take the ones that aren't working at offense, work them defense, or vice versa. And so we're looking at those kind of options down the road also.
Coach, in the offensive backfield, you got some depth at running back. You've got some players that had an opportunity to see quite a bit of time last year. And I know depth is a luxury, certainly, but you've got some kids with a lot of experience there as well.
Yeah, Gibbons started for us at tailback last year as a freshman, and he's worked hard. And he's gotten stronger, and he's got as good field vision as any kid I've ever seen. And if he'll work hard, he could be as good as any running back that's ever came through this school. And then, of course, Stallings can play running back for us. We've got Levi Halliburton that can play running back for us. Addison Halliburton can play tailback for us. We just have a whole buku of kids that can take and step in and play running back for us. And that's going to help us, too, because we'll be able to take and have somebody fresh. Of course, Harris had a good year last year playing running back for us. So, we got several kids that can run the football.
As well as being head coach, you also serve as defensive coordinator. Let's talk about that side of the ball and some strengths and weaknesses that you see on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Well, really, I don't see if we pan out and can get to where we execute like we're supposed to, I don't think we'll have any weak spots. Now, depth-wise, there's a couple positions that we're taking a look at that we need to develop some players to be able to step in and play if we need them to. But I feel really good defensively right now about what we've got coming back and where we are right now.
Concerns. This is that time of the year where you're really addressing all the concerns. You know the things that you do well, and certainly you're going to focus on every aspect of the game. But things that you're really concerned about as you enter this time of the year, getting ready for week one, is just right around the corner.
Well, you always work your kicking game, and going into the first ball game, you're wondering, did I forget to cover something in the kicking game? And, of course, Coach Haley's taken over as a special teams coordinator, and he's done a good job putting that stuff together. And, we've practiced quite a bit of the kicking game, and hopefully we'll be able to do a good job in it, because you can win and lose ball games in the kicking game. Offensively, Coach Goolsby's the offensive coordinator. He's taken over for Coach Clemens, who I'll miss. Coach Clemens did a great job for us, and all the time he was here with me, and prior to, he's a class act, and I can't say enough good things about him. He's had an opportunity to move up in administration, and he took that opportunity, and I hated to see him do it, but I want him to do what's best for him and his family. So Coach Goolsby's taken over the offense, and he's thrown some wrinkles in, some things that we've changed offensively, and which he's got to do what he knows, and Coach Clemens did what he knows.
Right.
Just like me defensively, I do what I know.
Right.
And so hopefully we'll be able to take and do that.
Coach, we'll wrap things up talking about the region just a little bit. It's a big region, 9 teams in the region. You get the 2 non-conference games, so to speak, right off the bat. You get a bye week, and then from week 4 on, it's nothing but region games. It's a tough region. Nashville Christian, of course, coming off the state championship. Trousdale's always a contender. But when you start looking at, I think 3, 4, 5, 6 on down the line, Coach, it looks pretty balanced to me. Looking at the likes of Joe Burns, Middle Tennessee Christian, Monterey, and what you guys have coming back, maybe what do you see playing out in the region race this year?
Well, we'll just have to take and look at that and take it one game at a time. Nashville Christian, of course, won the state last year, and if you take and look at our region, 6 of the 9 teams have been state champions.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough region, and so it's I don't think there's a tougher single A region in the state. And maybe play-wise, there's not a tougher region in the state, period. Of course, most teams are in districts. For example, South Pittsburgh sitting down there in a 5-team region, and we're sitting up here in a 9-team region, and it makes a big difference as far as getting to go to the playoffs and stuff. So, you know, we're going to have to take them each game. Each one of them is important, and hopefully be able to get to, we win enough ball games to get in the playoffs this year.
All right, well, Coach Ron Marshall, we wish you the very best this season. We'll be seeing Gordonsville 3 times during the course of the season, against Watertown, against Smith County, and later this year over at Monterey in their brand new facility. Wish you the best of luck throughout the 2016 season.
Thank you.
Coach Ron Marshall of the Gordonsville Tigers joining us here as we feature Gordonsville here on DTC Sports.